Guest up in here today. My motherfucking homeboy, my big brother, my motherfucking homie from the 700. Holla at them motherfuckers dirty. What's up with it, brother?
What's that? What is 700 Linc in this mug? You heard me?
Man, yeah, man. It's good, man. It's good to hear your voice, bro. That's what I'm talking
Hey,
about,
man,
bro.
it's always good to hear you.
Sweep it up like a broom, the elephants in the room. Feeling like MJ, I walk it out on the moon. These boys faster than Zoom, I'm floating like a balloon. I'm from the womb to the tomb, I'm repping the green room. Yeah.
What up, world? Welcome to the Green Room with Gippy Lee, and I'm your host who does the most, Gift Star, aka Gippy, aka Mojo, aka Cocky Bell Boy, aka you can call me whatever you want, man, but just don't call me Collect. Man, I got a fucking special guest up in here today. My motherfucking homeboy, my big brother, my motherfucking homie from the 700. Holla at them motherfuckers dirty. What's up with it, brother?
What's that? What is 700 Linc in this mug? You heard me?
Man, yeah, man. It's good, man. It's good to hear your voice, bro. That's what I'm talking
Hey,
about,
man,
bro.
it's always good to hear you, you know.
Yeah, man. So what's up with you though? What's up with you? How you feeling? How you living?
First of all, I want to give a shout out to my boy Gip and his wife Glo on their business adventure.
Right,
You know what I'm
right,
saying?
right.
Boss lady, she doing her thing. God his body. You know what I'm saying? And my boy Mo with the green room.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know I got love.
Right, right, right. Right, right. But before we get into anything, y'all, make sure y'all subscribe to my YouTube channel, Gipstar ENT, GIPPSTAR ENT. And you know today's show, episode 10, because I ain't never seen it yet. Yes, episode 10. It's sponsored by Goddess Body. Ladies, like I said before, go get your shapers, go get your waist trainers, go get your fire highs, located in the Oakwood Shopping Center, you know what I'm saying? And y'all know my phrase. Ladies, y'all know my phrase. If you got curves and you hot, Goddess Body is the spot. Wardrobe provided by Tommy Hilfiger. Man, go get your garments and your accessories located at any Tommy Hilfiger outlet located in the country, matter of fact, the world. Man, so what's up, my brother?
I'm just chilling, man. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
man. Yeah, you're
Just
right.
trying to just trying to keep a lot of things down, you know.
Right, right, man. And I want to lay up there and talk today about mental health, bro. Mental health, bro. Man, today, man, for the weekend, excuse me, y'all, we lost a good person, bro. We lost a good player, a LSU wide receiver, Kyren Lacy, man. We lost him to suicide, man. And when it comes down to suicide, bro, mental health is a motherfucker, bro. Mental illness, bro. And I don't know about suicide, Link, but we can relate to that mental illness either from experiences or our families. You know what I'm saying, bro?
Yeah, especially that depression. That depression come on strong, man. A lot of people can have a straight face and just don't see the pain behind it. You know,
For real.
you never know what's on a person's
For
mind
real, you
unless you
right.
try to communicate or talk with that person. You know, and my love goes out to the Lacy family and to the man that lost his life. My heart goes out to everybody.
Man, shout out to the Lacy family too, man. Condolences to the Lacy family, man. Um, man. Hey, bro, when I laid up there and seen that on the news, bro, man, my mouth dropped, bro. Straight up, dude. My mouth
Man,
dropped. Excuse me, 700. My mouth
I could,
dropped.
yeah, I couldn't believe it. You know.
Like, wow. I'm like, I was telling my wife and shit, man, dog, mental health is serious. Mental health is serious. And man, in the black community with the suicidal rates, you know what I'm saying? A percentage of that shit is more than the white community, bro. Can you believe that shit?
For real, bro, we need a strong person in office to lay there and try to bring mental health back to the community. But I don't think personally we're gonna get anywhere with Donald Trump, you know.
Nah, man, he'll make a motherfucker up there and blow their fucking brains out, bro. Cause he backwards.
For real.
But not to lay
For
up there
real.
and say that, and excuse me, not to say that like to make a motherfucker blow their brains out. They're just on a joking matter, but on a serious note, bro, man, bro, suicide it's not the way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
but only that man knew what he probably was going through.
you're
You know
right.
what I'm saying?
You're
And
right.
at the point in time, I don't think he should have been around firearms. You know what I'm
Real.
saying? Maybe he should have had that one friend or that one cousin or that one relative to watch, you know what I'm saying? Talk to him, like never leave his side. Try to get him some counseling, you know what I'm saying? Because you never know what a person's going through.
You know what a
So
person
you're looking
going
at
through.
you're looking at your whole life in front of you. Then you're looking at time in jail, and that could hurt your career. There's a lot of things he probably was thinking about. Coming up, and then the draft was coming up.
Right.
So yeah, that's a lot of things to think about.
To me, like I figured he had another chance. He had another chance. You know what I'm saying? He probably didn't have another chance because they had a discussions like the black man could get in trouble by having somebody life taken from, and that was like incidental. It wasn't like he intentionally did it, but by on the hit and run, but by him being Kyren Lacy and by him doing the hit and run, he panicked, and as he panicked, he ran off. But nobody didn't have no expectations that man was gonna die. But the way he committed suicide was on a whole different level. It was a whole different story because he committed suicide in Houston. Because this happened with the incident that hit running in Thibodeau, but he committed suicide in Houston. I think they were saying like him and his sister got into it or some shit, and a gun was fired and the police was called, and they had a whole police chase, and the police chase ended up with him self-inflicted wound. Yeah, man. And that ain't no way to go out.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it, but what he was thinking about leading up to that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it could have really been eating at him.
Yeah, but a lot of things.
You got the draft coming up, and you got your court case coming up in the same month.
A lot of things could have played a part. You know what I'm saying? I'm not disrespecting the Lacy family and all that, you dig, but drugs could have played a part in that. You know what I'm saying?
Anything leading up to it,
yeah.
You never know what was on his mind. That's why I said a lot of people don't talk to people, because they can put a good look on, but you never know what's behind the look. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I've been there. You know, and it's not easy to speak on because we all suffer from different things.
You're right about that. You're right about that.
My depression is it plays a big part in my decisions.
Right. But I've been knowing you for like a good almost 20 years, my brother, and I don't think your depression could lead up to no suicidal.
Well, you never know what a person really feels.
I understand that, you know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion towards you, you know what I'm saying? And comparing yourself like to with Lacy and shit like that, because he was young and he had a lot of shit going and a lot of pressure, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, everybody have different pressures, but it can lead to the same result.
Yeah. Maybe that argument he had with the system, maybe it was the last cry for help,
Man.
And like I said, I respect the family privacy. Me speaking on it is just my opinions and my thoughts, and I don't mean no harm.
Just my opinions and my thoughts. We don't mean no harm. The green room will get believed don't mean no harm. We speaking on just our opinions and our assumption on things that can happen and things that can be prevented in situations like that. Because
I just wish our young athletes and prospects that's coming up could have people to guide them and coach them and talk to them.
Right.
Kids talk. And sometimes you feel yourself alone when nobody can have them thoughts in your head that you got them voices.
Right.
It's kind of hard.
And my thing is like sometimes I can't speak on the suicidal thing, but sometimes family can play a big part into mental issues. They can bring their mental issues towards you,
And coming from New Orleans, I've been down dark places, you know what I'm saying? And I grew up in that project, grew up in that Fisher,
Right.
and I saw some things, and just dealing with family, you know, it goes deep, bro. You know,
Right.
family members shooting, killing family members, you know what I'm saying? It's real,
Let me ask you
you
something
know.
new. Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. You think jealousy is a big factor of mental health?
I think it's a lot that plays a part with it. You know what I'm saying? Like the poverty. You know what I'm saying? The mental abuse that you might know this child going through or what he experienced, and he is trying it on somebody else's kid. And
Right.
you know, I grew up with a tight, big family. You know what I'm saying? And my pet peeve was I hate sleeping out. You know, I used to hate to sleep by my cousins. You know what I'm saying? My aunties, I used to hate to sleep over there. You know what I'm saying? Because you experience different household things, you know, and it crosses over you and fuck with you mentally because you gotta grow up around these motherfuckers, you know.
Right.
Excuse me for cursing, you know what
Nah,
I'm
man,
saying?
say you the man, get it off your chest, man. You blessed to get it off your chest. That's what we
Yeah,
gonna say one
it
thing.
just to me it plays a part. It lots of
Right,
plays a part with the mental,
right.
you know.
Cause I'm like, I figure like one day me and my uncle was in that situation, you know what I'm saying? That jealousy shit, you dig it? It plays a big part
Yeah,
of mental health, you know what I'm saying, man?
yeah,
I'm injured and shit, you dig? So as I'm injured, I really can't move like that, you know?
yeah.
And by me not can't move like that, man, Uncle had some words behind some shit he didn't like, you know what I'm saying? And I think that was a big part of mental issue, and I ain't respect the shit at all, me.
Yeah, you just trying to figure out why would he come at you in a certain way, and you're in the position that you're in, you know.
Right, right, right. And like, man, me personally, you really gotta be a real fucked up person and have a real fucked up thoughts when you live there and have let me see, how can I say it? Animosity towards your family members. And plus the animosity start by when they throw this old shit in your face, you know what I'm saying? You did like they've been having these old grudges and they can constantly throw it in your face. And you know what it do? It takes a motherfucker to get high or a motherfucker get drunk to live there, to tell you how they feel. And I think that's part of mental health. Straight
You
up.
know, a lot of people don't see that you know you're dealing with social pads. You know what I'm saying? You're dealing with motherfucking narcissists. You know what I'm saying? You're all wrapped up in one thing. You can't really detect on who is who because down here in this New Orleans field, you know what I'm saying? It's like every man for himself. You know, like there's no loyalty, especially among family.
Right.
Saying and it's real because who you gonna trust? You know, with your life. Here I have been protecting you all my life, and I feel that you know that how far we will go for each other, and for you to try to put me down mentally, attack me mentally, because you had a bad day or you keep bringing up stuff from the past. I can't deal with whatever thoughts you got going on in your head. Maybe you need help. But to take it out on me every time you feel like you have to have a substance in you, and I tell you I don't like that person, I don't want to be around that person, you can't respect that.
I'm like some shit. Uh how can I say it? How can I say it? A motherfucker, a drunk person speak a sober mind. Let's get that out the way right quick. When a drunk person speak a spoken mind, a drunk person speak a sober mind, they been want to tell you that. That's in every family though.
Yeah.
But that's being in
That's
every
why I say
family,
a lot plays a part with this mental, you know. It could be anything that'll switch or click this person. You know what I'm saying? We all got that limitation, you know. And some of us grew up in the past where we didn't get no help for that. You know, and the state took it from us, you know what I'm saying? And got people harming their kids, and, you know, people don't know how to deal with everyday life, you know?
Yeah, but it's like,
or maybe they just had it that one day, you know what I'm saying? That one day could be one day that changes your life forever.
but you know, it's like some motherfuckers can trigger you for you to lose. And we know that. We all know a motherfucker can trigger you for you to lose. Just say like, you know, family member, your motherfucker left there triggering you, getting under your skin, you know what I'm saying? Getting under your skin. Y'all fall out, you know what I'm saying? You did because I guess he ain't in the position that you in. And by he not being in the position that you're in, you did this say incidentally harm him or he harm you and all that, you know. I see it as a lose-lose situation, regardless.
Yeah, but we'll get to that point where you can't turn and work things out, you know what I'm saying? Why I gotta go to the extreme, you know, like to really want to harm your blood, you know what I'm saying? Why would you want to see
Because there's a big difference. It's a big difference. It's a big difference between ignorant motherfuckers and illiterate motherfuckers. A ignorant motherfucker, you know what I'm saying, is like they know better. But an illiterate motherfucker, they just don't know, and they just don't want to know. You know, they ain't trying to have it in their head to listen. You know what I'm saying? Big difference between a ignorant motherfucker and the illiterate motherfucker. And if they got an ignorant motherfucker and illiterate, both of them in them, oh man, you can't change that.
Yeah, that's why I said psychopath and the narcissistic is real. You know
Niggas can't change that.
I done seen some things growing up in that project.
Man, we all did, you know what I'm saying? How you feel about how you feel about how can I say this? Uh I, like family reunions. How do you feel about that? And when in this era with people dealing with mental health because they got somebody in every family that's fucked up. So how you feel about a family reunion? Would you attend yours?
I really attended one back in 22. I think we had one in 22 or 23. And it was at Burma Stadium.
Right.
It turned out to be nice. You know what I'm saying? I was happy to see some of the ones I was happy to see. And the ones I wanted to stay away from, I got from around, you know?
Right.
But it really don't plays a big part. I just rather keep my distance. You know what I'm saying?
You know, because sometimes when you stay your distance, you keep the peace.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you stay your distance, you keep the peace because when you're out of sight, you're out of mind.
Yeah.
And
but you don't want to be to the point where you turning your back on it. Just I want my peace. You know what I'm saying?
Man, look here.
40 years of dealing with family, dog, you know, it do something to you. And like I said, all families ain't built the same. You know what I'm saying? But you got one in every family.
Right. What I mean by that out of sight, out of mind, if I can't see this motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? There ain't no sense for me to live there and turn my back or have my back towards him. Because I ain't going to be around him.
Yeah. But you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying and shit, you know what I'm saying?
Like
because
if they call on me and I'll be like, I don't fuck with you. Or, nah, it never to that point, but certain ones, yeah, it's to that point, you know? And they know who they are.
Right, right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. So what you think about them Saints, though, man? Y'all think y'all gonna win the division?
Man, anything possible. You know what I'm saying? It just I hope we get a good squad together this season. You know.
Man, I think.
you know what I'm saying? So I'm pulling for a new coaching system, and I'm pulling for one of these quarterbacks to stand up and stand out. You know, and not get hurt in the regular season.
Man, I think the Saints gonna pull it off. I think they're gonna win the division. Y'all heard this from Gippy. Y'all heard this from me. Y'all heard this from the Green Room. The Green Room with Gippy Lee. I said that the Saints is gonna pull it off this year. The division.
That bad luck. that bad luck.
Nah, it ain't bad luck. It's just being a realist on what I see. You know what I'm saying? Y'all got a Super Bowl winning coach, and I think he could take y'all to the promised land in the NFC South. I ain't saying y'all gonna go to the Super Bowl, but I think y'all can win the division. So good luck to the Saints. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to my Saints.
I ain't shouting out no Saints.
That
I ain't shouting out
motherfucking
no
Saints.
Saints. I'm not shouting out the fucking Saints, you dig? I'm saying good luck to them in the NFC South because I call them that they're gonna win the NFC South. If I call and see if they're gonna win the NFC South, good luck to y'all. You know what I'm saying? If y'all don't, well, SOS.
The
When I
700 Linc shouting out them Saints. You heard me?
700 lanes shouting out them Saints, you dig? But if they don't win it, SOS. And what I mean by SOS, same old Saints. Same old Saints. You know, like man, mental health, bro.
It's real.
That shit is real, y'all.
It's
Mental
real.
health is real.
Don't ignore the warning signs. You know what I'm saying?
You can't. You can't.
It's real. That depression shit is real.
You
You
can't.
got somebody crying out for help, but they don't know how to get in touch with nobody.
You can't.
And it won't let you because they got a hold on it.
You
Yeah.
can't. You can't ignore the warning signs. The reason why you can't ignore the warning signs, you know what I'm saying? Because the first one can be the worst one.
You might not get that second chance.
Right. That's why I said the first one could be the worst one. So always acknowledge the warning signs and never ignore the warning signs. Because man, lose
You
a
see
life.
somebody that's, fighting and, you know what I'm saying, just trying to let in, reach out and talk to somebody, talk to that person,
Right, right.
You might change that person's life, you know what I'm saying? You might change something, You never know until you try.
Never know till you try, man.
That's my word of the day,
Man, because man, damn. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a big loss to the city of New Orleans. That's a big loss to Thibodeau. As a matter of fact, that's a big loss to the state of Louisiana.
Man, everybody that got a youngster
A
that's
big part, a
doing
big loss to
whatever they gotta do
the
with their
LSU
life.
community. A big loss to the Baton Rouge community. A big loss to the, like I said, the state of Louisiana. Period.
Man, I hope these youngsters get some help that they really need. You know what I'm saying? The guidance that they really need. Because some of them go in there blind, and they just don't know one mistake could change your whole life.
Right.
And it's real, bro. It happens to everybody. But to be so young, and you never know what you was going to turn into, that's the hardest part. But the hardest part, mama got to close her eyes, and, you know what I'm saying, see them for the last time. Daddy too, siblings, everybody, you know what I'm saying? Like, whoever could have reached out and talked to him, I wish they would have. Like, changed the narrative.
For real. And my thing is like, you never know. People probably was talking to him. People probably was, Sometimes people don't want to live, like here, what you really got to see. It goes in one ear and out the other. But when it's too late, it's too late.
You could choose to take advice or you could choose not to, But whatever was going on in his head, it's that mental.
Right. So lessons should be learned, man. Lessons should be learned when it comes down to mental health, man.
And sometimes it be too late, my brother.
Yeah, like I
And
said.
that's the one thing we gotta change. We gotta open up centers that can, deal with these kids with everyday problems. Be
Right.
able to come talk to somebody. Communication is key. But they all in their cell phones and you know what I'm saying, and they viral and they not knowing that life is precious. You know what I'm saying? And if you have a chance to talk to somebody, talk to that person.
And that's a prime example right there for like these politics. These politics should live there week and see that dude taking his life and be a prime example of man open up these community centers all around the state so they can prevent mental health, man. Because they done took a lot of shit from these this young generation more like what we had. We had a lot of shit to do.
Yeah, it takes a lot of funding and sponsors, you know what I'm saying, that's willing to fight for the same cause that you're trying to put out there for mental awareness.
Yeah,
You know,
man.
there's a lot of people, they talk a good game, but they don't get there and they don't do nothing to open up these centers. It's not going to hurt nothing to open up these centers and have them go somewhere after school. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
To keep them out the street, you know?
right.
I feel that they should build more basketball goals and more football fields, and maybe, you know what I'm saying, you have them occupied. You know what I'm saying? Or bring something to the level like boxing or learning, you know, different types of, you know, arts or whatever, you know.
Cause Berman Gym and Fox Park, they've been closed for a long motherfucking time, huh?
I just don't see the sponsors behind it. You know what I'm saying? And then we're living in this Trump era, so we really don't know how the funding gonna really go. You know, there ain't nobody fighting for our district, I feel, you know.
Man, this man here, the governor, he trying to live there and cut food stamps to do something with food stamps about uh like trying to ban snacks or like cold drinks and shit like that from food stamps though. So you know
Yeah,
shit trying to
he a
change.
Republican governor that falls under Donald Trump lead.
Yes
Only Donald
indeed.
Trump and Eli is cutting funding for everything. You know what I'm saying?
Everything.
And they touching education, and they trying to get rid of erase Black history. You know what I'm saying? It's sad. You know, for us Black people, you know, the reason why I guess we're really not panicking yet is because we always been through something. You know, every generation. You know
Every
what I'm saying?
generation.
And I don't see him being in another 4 years. You know what I'm saying? He might not even make it to his second year. You know?
Now you know what? This is last term anyway. You know, cause he was in
Yeah,
the term
but you
already.
never know what's in store in the future. You know what I'm saying? So Black people that went through it all, bro.
Yeah.
You know?
Nah, but he ain't gonna have another term. Once he get these 4 years out the way, he out the door. But you know, the laws probably never change, even though he out of office. But he'll never live there and being. That's why he doing all this shit now. Because once his
Yeah,
term over, it's over with.
yeah. But like I said, we got a governor that ain't sponsoring nothing for Black youth. You know what I'm saying? You're not standing up for nothing Black youth. You
Nothing.
know what I'm saying? We gotta be the ones that come in our community and clean up our community. You know what I'm saying? Invest in these kids. You know, they need somebody to guide. You know what I'm saying?
For real.
They need somebody to guide them. You know, yeah, they gonna get in front of the big cameras and they gonna shine. Yeah, they gonna stand out. You know, what you got after that? You know, you got a whole life out to change. You might not make it in the NFL. Might make it in the NFL, but you might not make it. What you got planned besides that, you know?
Man. That's why they should live there and have things better off. Like not all year round, period. Cause
Yeah,
I don't see the Fox Parks no more. I don't see the
yeah,
McClendonville
the
Parks no more.
football games
I don't
and
see.
volleyball games and you know,
I rarely see the McDonald's, the
I
McDonald
remember
Park.
my I remember my fiance got out there and she laid there and put a whole team together at McDonald's 35. Shout out to Catherine Hayes for doing her part when her girls was young and getting the team together. You know, ever since then, I haven't been seeing none of that. You know, used to be the cutoff against 35. Used to be Parks against Parks. You don't
Man,
see that.
nah, you ain't seeing that no more. Like you probably see the cutoff or something, or you probably see like the AAU, and you're digging. And I'm noticing something like parents pay for that shit, like the travel and all that. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
shit. See, all that shit was like, if we had to travel. You know what I'm saying? You dig? Our coaches paid for the shit.
yeah. But you got a lot of kids who won't get high, pop pills, smoke weed. You know what I'm saying? Try to do the things that you know every generation do, but we just can't. You know what I'm saying? Just can't just go strong on them. You know what I'm saying, or whatever. But it just got to be a way to reach out and touch. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, it starts with the parent.
I don't think. I don't think. A lot of kids who do drugs start off with the weed or pills or whatever. They don't even come from fucking broken homes. They come
That's
from
crazy.
they
That's
you know
crazy. Cause
that
we got a lot of that down here in New Orleans. You know, like broken homes. That's been the curse of generation after generation. You know.
and I'm seeing to be honest with you though, dude, what I'm seeing, I'm not seeing a lot of broken homes now. You did like our generation, you know what I'm saying? I'm seeing in this generation, I'm seeing mothers and fathers together. You know, cause like my stepson 27, my stepdaughter 25, my real daughter is 22, my other daughter is 7. You know what I'm saying? Like they're united with family and
Yeah,
shit
but
like that.
I'm not speaking on that. But you know, it's like each family to their own. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, I've seen a lot in my family. And it's still going on. You know, that's what I'm trying to tell you. Like maybe that family ain't got what's going on with that family. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm telling you, it's different. More.
Yeah, every family is different.
Yeah, because
Every
that broken
family is
home
different.
shit is real. That broken home shit is still
Yeah,
going on. You know, maybe
and
you haven't seen it lately, but yeah, it's
this,
going
and
on in my family.
This another thing. You can agree with me on. They got a lot of niggas out here homeless. They have a lot of
Yes,
niggas
but
out here homeless.
yeah,
A lot of niggas out here. It's a big. Let me explain myself when I see a lot of niggas out here homeless. It's a big difference if you being homeless and you could be homeless with a roof over your head. Let me say this again. Put the camera right here on me. Put the camera on me. You can be homeless with a roof over your head. The reason why I say that, you know what I'm saying? You can live there and be fucking around with your old lady and all that shit. They're fucking with your old lady, you know what I'm saying? You did. She got the Section 8 house. Things going good all of a sudden. You move in with her and all that. As soon as shit get bad, what they do, Dirk? What they tell her?
you gotta go.
You gotta go. Get out. And what you gotta go, you know what I'm saying, is off to somewhere else. Mom's
You're
or another
sleeping on
bitch or
somebody
something.
else.
That's
You're sleeping on somebody else's couch.
right.
You
That's
know,
pillar to post. And if your name not on it, that mean you homeless.
that's
Straight
another
up.
thing that's mental too. That's really running high in this city. You know what I'm saying? A lot of pillar to posting. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
cause you right, bro. And that's mental
I,
part
that's how
too.
I met. That's how I met one of my baby mamas. Pillar to posting.
Nah, but that's mental too. Like, you know what I'm saying? If a person got all this energy to do this dumb shit, you know what I'm saying? You should have energy to live there and try to have your own for once in a lifetime. Have your own. Not lean all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Cause the leaning, you know what I'm saying, is you know what the motherfuckers that lean all the time? They gonna always need a crutch. And if
And
you
they
always
having
need
babies for these governmental supplements. You know what I'm
you know
saying?
no, but what I'm saying is if you always leaning, you're gonna always need a crutch if you figure out that riddle I just said. You're gonna always need a crutch. And if you always gonna need a crutch, you know what I'm saying, you can't walk on your own. You're always gonna need your hand hold like a fucking baby.
I met a little chick the other day. She was 22 with 4 kids, and all of them got different baby daddies. That was crazy. That. And
But
I thought my daughter was joking. My daughter was really telling the truth. And she had one in her stomach.
by the same baby daddy or a different baby daddy.
I can't even go that move to the lady and say I know her business like that. But I was just saying a joke, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Man, but I met plenty of motherfuckers like that. And
yeah, I'm like,
I dealt with one with 5 baby daddies. None of the bastards was mine. You know, no
I'm like,
disrespect to saying that word. You know what I'm saying, but none of them were mine. So I did that. You know what I'm
but
saying?
the girl got out looking like a child. You know, my grandson had a party, he turned 7, you know what I'm saying, JJ. And I'm looking at her getting out the car, and I'm looking at 4 other little legs getting out the car, you know what I'm saying, one by one. And I'm asking my daughter, because my daughter pulled up with her.
What, back to back, right?
Yeah, I'm like, what, you going back and get, all of them out?
No,
Because
I ain't saying that.
all,
I ain't
I
saying
thought
that.
all 5
No,
of them was brothers and sisters.
No, I ain't saying that. Hold up, I ain't saying that. You did when they pulled up, you seen little legs. You did like little bitty children back, like she had them back to back to back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what
like,
I'm saying.
Like maybe a two-year hiatus, you know.
Yeah.
And to think that my daughter, like, that's all earned. And, you know, I say it as a joke because, you know what I'm saying, you got little legs getting out the car, but maybe my daughter going back and get all of them mom, you know what I'm saying? Cause I'm thinking all of them 5 of them siblings, you know? Cause she looking too young to have 4 kids.
Nah, but she
22, about to be 23. And I'm like, Lord, and then my daughter said she's pregnant, you know what I'm saying?
So she 22 with 4 kids.
Yes, Mo. With one possibility on the way, you know.
Now that gotta be, man.
And this don't stop there. It's just when my daughter told me that all of them got different dads.
Nah, you know.
They may look all the same, but she got 4 niggas on child support. Right?
Her mental health gonna be all the way fucked up.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I try to stop the trend when it came to my grandchild, my granddaughter. I'm gonna stop that trend. You know what I'm saying?
But no, sometimes
you're not gonna be how my daughters turned out. You're not gonna be how their mamas turned out. You know what I'm saying? I refuse. I will fight for you. All the bread I got in me. You know what I'm saying? To not see you go that route. You know.
But sometimes, like 10 years later, come shit can change.
Yeah, you know, I might not be here in 10 years. You know what I'm saying?
Shit can change.
But my whole thing is, as long as I got breath in my body, I'm gonna fight.
Yeah, you're right.
And hopefully God let me get through to her to where I don't have to turn my back. You know what I'm saying? Because it gets to that point, man, where a lot of family members turn their back on family members. You know what I'm saying? Because you can't make them listen. You know.
You got any last thoughts on before we go from the green room with Gippy Lee on this mental health thing today? You know what I'm saying? And I like to say rest in peace to Kyren Lacy. My condolences to y'all family and everything. You know what I'm saying? You like to say any last thoughts to this shit, bro?
Yeah. Once again, y'all really got to take this mental healthness awareness real serious, man. This real serious. And if you could reach out to somebody and talk to that one person, maybe you might change something in their life. But I'm not going to lay there and make it longer than what it's supposed to be. God bless to Gippy in the green room, and God is body and the boss lady. You know what I'm saying? And I thank you, my brother, for having me on the show and taking time to hear my story or me to share thoughts with you. It's been a pleasure.
Right. So tune in to episode 11 with the green room with Gippy Lee, your host who does the most, Gipstar, aka Gippy, aka Mojo, aka Cocky Bell Boy, aka you can call me whatever you want. I'ma lay up there and holler, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to my motherfucking dude 700 Linc, you dig? And we out of here, you know what I'm saying? Straight out the green room, you dig? Holla, baby.
Sweep it up like a broom, the elephants in the room. Feeling like MJ, I walk it out on the moon. These boys faster than Zoom, I'm floating like a balloon. I'm from the womb to the tomb, I'm reppin' the green room, yeah.